What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to part 4 of the timber frame pergola project. Today we get all the stone on and the capstones on and finish the project. Come check it out. All right, so we got our stone from the valley. This stuff is a beautiful flagstone that matches all the tonality and the color of the local stone that is found here in the hillsides. We got the front and the back and one of the sides done already. We're gonna jump back over to this other side, get this whole thing wrapped, start putting capstones on, and the timber frame pergola is just one step closer to being done. All that's left after this will be grouting all the openings, but pretty much today, everything aside from grout will be done. So come hang out, come check it out. It's pretty exciting to be this close done with this project here. My new method is taking a big stone, breaking it, and then putting it back together. All right, so we're out here. We're making our way back around this whole thing. Huge shout out to my father-in-law, Matt Locke, master tile setter, and among other things. So we're just getting all these pieces on here. Everything's starting to set up. This stuff looks really, really cool. And it really is just rounding out the rest of the pergola here. Doing stuff like this definitely makes me grateful that I am not a stonemason or a tile setter. It is a lot of freaking work, and I tell you what, I am an absolute soot or dirt, the extra grout, anything that was on here that was left from, you know, the construction of the project. We got it all cleaned off, wiped down. Everything is prepped and ready for finish. What we're using on the cedar is a product from Cabot's. It's a clear wood protector, and the reason why we chose it is we wanted to keep the cedar as natural looking as possible, not adding any tint or any color to it, but being able to protect it so it just lasts that much longer. It's all bone dry now, dry to the touch. Everything feels really good. It's been a beautiful day over here, so we're ready for finish. As you can see, this Cabot's is really very light liquid. It is not thick like some of the other finishes that we've used. And so we're gonna have to be pretty careful when it's going on, making sure that it stays on the cedar, not dripping everywhere. That's why we did all the cardboard. So when we're hitting this underside of the roof here, because this Cabot's finish is so liquid, so much of it was just kind of rolling out the base of the brush. So I just ran over and grabbed one of my paint rags, and actually it's doing a really good job of getting it on here and really not dripping a whole lot. I'm gonna come back with the brush and get some of the tighter areas, but this has actually made it go significantly faster and seems to be quite a bit cleaner, at least for getting most of it on here. So I think it's the way to go as far as getting kind of the majority of it on. And again, you know, this is the underside of the roof, so it's not quite as crucial as everything else that is directly exposed to the elements, but we want to make sure we get it because we want the color to remain as consistent as possible across the whole thing here. So we're just going to keep on going with this, and like I said, kind of run back through with the brush to get those tighter inside corners and the rest of the beam here. But doing this on just the general open flat areas has been almost twice as fast as what we were doing with the brush, and far less messy. I'm not really getting any drips now. So that's pretty much this whole side. I'm gonna come back through with the brush and just get those real tight inside corners and the rest of our beam here. Nice thing about this transparent finish is it really just makes the cedar kind of look like it's wet. Like it doesn't even look like it has anything on it other than it just being wet. So it's just shined up just a little bit. Looks really nice and clean. Just a little bit more finished, and it's just gonna last that much longer out here in the weather, which obviously on the Oregon coast we get a lot of. So we're gonna keep on finishing this up, and then we'll jump on to the stone sealer. So we are on the home stretch here of the wood finishing. This Cabot stuff has gone on pretty well. The only difficulty is literally just how light this liquid is. It's really kind of tricky to put on vertical surfaces, specifically overhead surfaces, and not have it drip all over the place. I would imagine though, you know, if you're working on a deck or a flat surface, it would go really, really smoothly. You could probably mop it around a deck or even put it in like a pump sprayer, and you could probably cover a deck pretty quickly and easily. This cedar, being relatively green, has actually consumed a lot of the finish really quickly. So I'm gonna contemplate putting on a second coat, but we'll see how this thing dries up. And again, really, the client here wanted to leave the cedar as natural as possible. All right, so we're ready to seal up our stone. What we're gonna be using for the sealer is a pretty standard company called Surface Guard. They have a wide variety of products on the market for different types of stone and tile sealers. This one is specifically concocted for large gap mortar and natural stone. It also will work for brick. It'll also work for tile, but this is more specific to the flagstone or the slate that we have up on the wall here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use just a regular mixing cup from Ace Hardware. That way we can just hold a small amount of it. We're gonna also use this big 4-inch fluffy bristle brush. We're gonna also make sure we're wearing our large rubber gloves because this stuff is pretty gnarly. You really don't wanna get this on your skin. The way we're gonna apply it is we're gonna brush it on. We're gonna let it soak in for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna take our paint rags and wipe off any excess sitting on the surface. And we're gonna let this stuff dry. Usually with the stone sealer, if we put it on heavy enough, we can just get one coat, kind of one and done. But we'll see again how this works as it pertains to the mortar or the grouting in between the stone, and see if we need a second application like we were talking about with the woodworking on the pergola itself. So we're gonna pour some of this in here, get gloved up. We're gonna go just get this on, and we are pretty much done with the pergola. I'm so excited to just get this last bit done, be able to step back, look at this thing, and have it be done. So we're gonna get this stone sealed up, and then we're out of here. See if I can. So all we're doing is we're just putting a real heavy application of this stone sealer all over our capstone here. We're making sure it gets down into the grout lines. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of pick an area, do it, and wipe it down within the time frame that, you know, we were talking about, that 5 minutes, to let it penetrate before it entirely hardens up. And we're just getting a really solid amount of this all over the place here. Try to get it kind of down underneath these little wood collars, down into all the cracks and kind of crevices here in the grout lines. Just kind of coming back through, making sure we get the faces of these capstones here. Okay, so we just got the stone sealer on this part, and we worked our way to the front edge. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna give ourselves just a couple more minutes here. We're gonna let this kind of dry in, and then we're just gonna wipe it down with our spare paint rags to just get off any excess sitting up on top. But really, I mean, you're seeing kind of the colors come alive as we're putting finish on the cedar and sealer on the stone. This is super exciting because this is just like, it just comes all together at the end once you get to put finish on it. And I'm just looking, all the wood grain just looks so awesome with that Cabot's clear, you know, wood protector. The stone is looking amazing. So, you know, we're kind of just on the home stretch here of just these finishing touches. I'm just gonna start wiping this stuff down here, get all the excess off. You can kind of see just as that sealer hits the stone, all of the life and the color and the depth comes out of it here. Yeah, it's just like, kind of like the icing on the cake here. Everything's kind of just blowing up and coming to life. So we just got to the end of this front side wall here. And what we're gonna do is we are just going to stop, grab our rags again. Again, just making sure we're keeping a mind on the time of that kind of 5-6 minutes is what the back of the bottle had recommended. So we're just gonna finish up getting all this stuff in. We're gonna grab our rags. We're gonna just wipe over all the surfaces, taking off all that excess. Sealer this is just like totally changing how all the stone looks. This is just so cool. It's really fun to watch all the deep colors in the stone that we really couldn't even see, even when it was wet, start to show up now with the sealer. And then it's really nice to see all the mortar just get dark and kind of blend everything together here. So I'm gonna stop right there. Just gonna make sure everything has been evenly coated. Kind of take a look at some different angles. Make sure we can see any little spots. Really, I would highly recommend wearing some eye protection while doing this. I'm just being really careful with the brush to make sure I don't shoot or flick any of this sealer up into my eyes. So any of you know, safety inspectors out there, I know I don't even have a set of eyeglasses in my truck right now for some reason. I normally do, or I'd have them on. But yeah, just be really careful while putting this stuff on. All right, that is pretty much it for the timber frame pergola project. We're gonna let this stone sealer sit in just for a couple of more minutes. Wipe it down, but everything looks so good. I think I am gonna come back and do one more coat of finish on the capstone, which is the softer stone. But the slate looks really, really nice. The grout lines are just deepening out. Like I had said, it just blends everything together. We're gonna let this dry for a few minutes, wipe it down here, and then we're done. That is it for the timber frame pergola project. I got a couple little things to come back and touch up on. Like I said, I'm gonna do another coat of sealer on the stone. I think maybe one more coat of finish on the cedar as it dries out, but we will see in the next few days. You guys, if you followed this from the beginning, thank you so much. Part 1, we did all the milling of the cedar up on the mill property. Part 2, we did all the site prep. Part 3, we did all the framing and general construction. Part 4, which is this video, we did all the stonework, the grouting, the sealing, the finishing. It is done. This has been a really fun project, mostly because it's just kind of a little bit different than what we're normally doing. Got us out of the shop, got us out into what we've been having beautiful weather this year on the Oregon coast here. And you know, it was just something different, a little bit of a challenge and a whole lot of fun. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Go back, check out part 1, part 2, part 3 if you're watching this video so you can catch the whole process of building this thing. I want to give a huge shout out to all the people who have been subscribing to us, commenting and liking. You guys, it means so much to us, and it's really been fun to watch this channel grow and watch this community grow. You know, we are so honored and so thankful to be here, and we are really so appreciate your guys' support. So go check out those other parts. Go check out the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one.